Dr. Parker, surgery is one of the key focuses of the Mercy ships. How does performing them and seeing a change in people's lives affect you?
It affects me very deeply. I look at the terrible conditions in which people live, and I have to say that the most dominant feeling I get is hopelessness. And when you see people who have no hope, then I don't see a future, because you have to have at least a glimmer of hope to be able to move toward a better future. So for me, the gift of surgery is the gift of hope, and it opens the doors for people to acknowledge that there's something much bigger than what they thought going on in their world.
How do you staff your surgery?
We staff our operating theaters here with volunteers from across the world. Of course, they have to be qualified surgeons or nurses or anesthetists, and people come from anywhere from 2 weeks or more to, in my case, many, many years. Let's say, for example, in Liberia, where we're heading next, we'll be there for 8 months. We'll have a whole series of people that will pass through with their various expertise. They're all coordinated, get the right people here at the right time, and we form our teams from that.
Is there a scripture that stands out for you that keeps you going during long periods of groundwork?
My conviction after 18 years on this ship is that God specializes in using weak people in His kingdom. And in fact, I think they're the only ones He really does use. And if we think that God's lucky to have us on His team, He's got a little something for us to go through to help us understand that that's not the case, but that He is able, by His grace, to empower weak people to do the things that are most important in His kingdom. And so for me, in 2 Corinthians 9, where Paul says that God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that in all things, at all times, having everything that you need, you will abound in every good work. And grace to some people may be just a theological concept, but I can tell you grace is a real power that God releases, and it allows us to live outside of our selfishness. He rescues me from my selfishness and just being bent on all about me and my feelings and my fulfillment and my, everything about me, and frees us. And I tell you, the grace of God is what does that.
Now, there are so many people who need help. How do you cope with not being able to help every single one of them?
I've often pondered the words of Mother Teresa when a news reporter was following her through Calcutta, and he looked around and he said, what possible hope do you have of succeeding in this city? Look at the immense human need. And her answer has always spoken to me. She said, God has not called me to be successful. He's called me to be faithful. And at the end of the day, what I have to be able to do is say, Lord, have I done what you've asked me to put on my plate?